Guys, I have a show car, and that car obviously has a ton of aftermarket lighting, and the wiring and switch situation was getting out of control. If you just set up a one underglow kit, this isn't a big deal, but as soon as you start adding that second set of lights, that third set of lights, that fourth set of lights, maybe you're in a Jeep and you have an aftermarket like CB radio, maybe you have like a winch that you need to power. All of these things require auxiliary power, and it gets really complicated really fast. All of the wiring gets really messy, all of the switches, all of the harnesses. Guys, this is something that I found that I had to make a video of because I couldn't find a good video about this out there. Like, if you know exactly what you're looking for, then you would know to search for that and you wouldn't need the video. But I knew I was looking for something to simplify the wiring in my show car. I just didn't know what that was. And so I finally found it, and I wanted to make a video to show you guys more about it, what the installation was like and what it was able to do for me as far as just simplifying all of my installation, all of my wiring, all of my harnesses going forward. Guys, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this in the future. And if you wanted to buy a product like this, I'm going to go on ahead and drop the link in the description below. Let's go on ahead and jump right in. I'm going to show you the product, get into the install, and just show you exactly how easy it was to install it on my 2020 Subaru WRX STI. I am installing this aftermarket AuxPower switch panel in my 2020 Subaru WRX STI Series White. This is a show car, and because it's a show car, I have a lot of aftermarket LEDs and lights hooked up to it. And those lights are more or less rigged into my car with a bunch of ATA fuses right now, and that's not ideal. So this aftermarket switch panel from AuxPower, it's a 8-gang switch panel, so it's basically going to allow me to mount this unit in my cabin. I can put any of these stickers over to customize it. These have nice little tactile feedback. This is an RGB one, so you can change the color of the backlight. But it's basically, this box has one main ground and one main power wire are basically going to go to the battery. So you can wire all of your inputs here. They are individually fused. There are built-in relays that are embedded in this goop, we'll call it, and it makes for a really simple installation. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through my installation of this, and it basically is going to make it so that I can safely control all of my lights from one switch panel inside my car. And if I ever have any issues, we have easy to access fuses right here through the actual switch box. First things first, you got to take your driver's side front wheel off. Actually, I'm going to take out my entire fender liner. So I'm coming in here, taking out all of these pop clips. I think there's one screw under there too. And then once the fender liner's out, I can run some cables into my cabin through a grommet that is behind the fender liner here. One thing I do want to mention, if you're going to be doing a lot of work on your car, you're going to want to invest in a kit like this that basically has an assortment of different plastic tools and also some metal tools that are going to make it a lot easier to take your pop clips out. I'll put a link to one of these in the description as well. I got this on Amazon. It was like 25 bucks. It comes with like 50 different tools, zip ties, and it also comes with an assortment of replacement pop clips, which you're inevitably going to need as you take them out. And over time, they're plastic and they're hard plastic, so they get brittle and you're going to have to replace them. They're going to break eventually. So it's good to have an assortment of those as a backup. And also just a variety of tools so that you can get the different, style pop clips out without fighting with it too much. It's going to just save you so much time and so much headache as you go through the process. All right, fender liner's out. One thing that I do want to mention is on the VA WRX STI, I like to take this piece out too, and I'll show you why. That piece would normally be right here. And as you can see, I have a lot of my control boxes wired into that area. So I like to have access to that area. And so if you take that piece out, it's just going to make life a lot easier. Now we're going to go on ahead and remove the fender shroud, and because I have the pair in one, it's again just these two screws here. All right, fender shroud is removed. You can look down in there and see basically what we're going to be working with some of the wiring that we have to redo. Also, now that we have that taken care of, we're going to look under here, and I'm going to show you, again, let me zoom out a little bit, but as far as the switch panel goes, I'm going to route the wire for it right through here. That's going to come out right inside of kind of near my clutch pedal, and that'll be for just the actual control box for the switch panel. Before you start any electrical work, you always want to start by disconnecting your negative battery terminal. All right, negative terminal is removed, so it is safe to work on the car now. And you just want to tuck that out of the way, make sure it's not going to accidentally travel back to the negative terminal. So just get that out of the way however you can. Next thing I want to take care of is routing the harness into the cabin from the engine bay. And so the connector here, this white one, is going to plug in right there. And this one is going to actually screw in the switch panel. And so this is the end that I'm going to feed through my grommet. We're going to go down here through our fender liner. And then, like I said, it's going to go in right through here. And you're going to have to cut that. So I've already done that. So I've already got a slit there. So I'm going to go on ahead and route this thing through now. I wanted to go ahead and turn the light on for you here. So now we are in our footwell. Only time in my life I wish I had smaller hands. Remember how important I told you it is to get a kit like this with helping you with the pop clips? Well, I'm going to go on ahead and show you. That kit came with these metal hooks, and I was able to use this hook, reach up in there, and very precisely pull or plug through. Now, I am pretty sure that, actually I want a little more slack, pull a little more in. Pretty sure I'm going to mount my control box right here. I want to mount it out of the way, but accessible. And so I could either mount it right here on the fuse box holder. We'll mock it up. You know, it'll be something like that. So it's accessible, but it's still out of the way. We're going to go on ahead and wire up the fuse box now. And if you look in here, you've got a fuse puller, right? That's what this is. It's a fuse pulling tool. Then you have a couple of spare fuses in case if you ever end up blowing a fuse. But to wire the fuse box up, we have this piece here, which is actually a breaker. So this is a fail-safe. There are relays built into the fuse box. They're embedded in this GUI here. We've got all of the different fuses. We're going to go on ahead and take our power cable. Power cable is going to go from the red terminal on the fuse box to our breaker. And then we have another power cable that's going to go from the breaker on this end, up here at the top, to the battery on the other end. And then we have the negative battery wire that's just going to connect to the negative terminal on your fuse box to the negative terminal on your battery. All right, so we got everything hooked up. So let's go on ahead and see where we're going to put all this stuff. What I'm going to do is actually mount this. So that's the original fuse box. I'm going to take this, I'm going to mount it just like that. And then I'm going to take these cables, I'm going to route them into my fender, and then they'll come back out and attach to the battery terminals. I can also mount this circuit breaker down into my fender as well using double-sided tape. When I mount this here, I'm going to attach it with Velcro. That way I can take it off and put it back on if I need to, because the actual fuse panel is underneath here for my car. So I need to be able to get this out of the way if I have to get to my factory fuse panel. And that's pretty much it. It comes with a fuse tap. And so I'm going to take that fuse tap and I'm going to wire it right into that fuse right there on my STI. That is a fuse where I can access power anytime, whether the ignition is on or not. And I need that because it's a show car, so I need to have access to power when the car is parked and turned off. I need my lights to be able to turn on. This is the accessory cable that it comes with. All right, it just has this small plug on the end here. This is going to plug into the fuse box. This is going to connect to the fuse tap using just standard wire crimps, electrical tape, and our heat shrink. So we're going to go on ahead and connect this. We're going to leave this unconnected until we get everything wired up. All right, I hope you can hear me okay. I'm in Texas and the winter vortex of 2024 is rolling in, so it's quite windy, but you can see that I got this mounted. These are the only two connections I'm going to be hooking up right now. As you can see, all you need to connect these are a screwdriver and then something to strip a little bit of the insulation off of your wires. So we can see that we've got the two accessories hooked in. Accessory wire is going to go right here. That way, this one, which goes again to the switch panel. So we're going to plug this one in now. Boom, that's connected. And it's not connected to the battery yet, so we're going to connect the battery. Make sure this guy works. But we got power connected, breaker is on, negative connected, accessory cable wired in, power cable going to the switch box. That's a good sign. We haven't put any of the stickers on here yet, but like I said, that's a good sign. So it should be 5 and 6 that we wired into. So we're going to press 5, we're going to press 6. One of those is going to be for my lit logo. The other one's going to be for the engine bay lights. Check it out. Lit logo is on. Engine bay lights, boom, 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 all on. So I'd say that's pretty much a success. The rest of this is just going to be tidying things up. So anyways, engine bay done. Everything is connected. All the wires are routed. One thing I am going to do is invest in some higher performance battery terminals. They make these terminals, I'll link them in the description, that basically have posts on them so that you can individually attach all of your accessories to those individual posts instead of having them all sandwiched into one. It's just going to help clean things up a little bit more. But until then, this works perfectly fine. I'm going to go on ahead and move into the cabin now and start working on mounting the actual switch box to my dash. But I'm going to go on ahead and screw the mounting plate into the back of the switchboard here. All right, so we got it installed. We got our buttons on. Let's go on ahead and program some of our light settings. And something that's really cool about this thing is if you press the power button, it actually has a memory. So if I turn it on and then I turn on those two accessories, if I use the power button to turn those accessories off, you can see it turns both of them off. If I press the power button again, the memory remembers that it's gonna turn those two back on. So I really like that. It's like daily driving, and we're at the show. Love it. Now this is something that's pretty cool too. So this device has different modes. And so I'm gonna go on ahead and show you what this mode does. But basically, I've put it into momentary mode. And that means as long as I'm holding the button, it's going to turn on whatever device I have powered. So I'm gonna go on ahead and bring us around to the front of the car and show you what that looks like. In addition to the momentary mode, we also have the strobe mode. So if we press that to make the button green, I'm going to go on ahead and show you what it looks like. It basically is going to cause whatever light is hooked up to that port to strobe.
You video recording?
All right, really the last setting I want to show you is just how you can customize what this device looks like. And this is one of the reasons I chose this device, because it was pretty fairly priced and it has RGB mode. So if you press mode and any other button at the same time, that's going to basically enter this settings mode. And then you can use 1 or 4 and you long press it and it's going to start cycling through the color wheel. And the lighting's not great on my phone, but it looks really good on the device. And now we're going to go back because we want to get red. There we go. Nice. And it looks that's kind of pink. Now that's saved, and we've got it red with the rest of our interior. So there you have it, guys, the AuxPower 8-gang switch panel. I really do like this piece of kit. Took a little bit of time to get it installed, but I was also, running all the wires and filming at the same time. If you guys were to install something like this from the onset, as soon as you start modifying your vehicle, it's a little over $100, and it's just one of the best kind of peace of mind / functional modifications that I've put into my car. It's just going to help keep things so much better organized. It's also, like I said, really functional with all of the different settings that it has embedded in it, and the ability to change the color palette, right, depending on how you have your car designed, or your truck, or your Jeep, whatever it may be. I believe it's also waterproof, right? It's a marine grade switch panel, so if you are in a Jeep, you can take the top off. You don't have to worry about this thing getting wet. So anyways, guys, let me just guys think of this in the comments below. Like I said, I'm going to put a link to this in the description here so you can easily find it on Amazon. And thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you guys found the video helpful. Until next time, we'll talk to you later. Goodbye.